Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dan here from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, and I am here once again to lay the smackdown on Monday Night Raw. Now, as you've probably come to expect, this is probably going to be a bit of a ranty episode. You know, Raw has not been the best show of late, but hey ho, this is what we do. So let's get straight into things. So what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw? Well, before we get into that, actually, it is the first Raw where we are not seeing the likes of the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman and Lana, who were sadly released last Wednesday. So obviously Strowman and Lana released alongside Santana Garrett, Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, Ruby Riott. Sad really that all those guys got released. But if you go check out that video, the shocking releases video, me and Scott sat down literally as the news was breaking of this happening. We just literally went live straight away and gave our thoughts on what was going on there. And coming up soon as well, there will be a released Mania 2. No date for that as yet. But yeah, so Raw kicked off as announced with the Battle Royal to determine the number one contenders for the Tag Team Championships. Now, we start out here with all the teams are in the ring except for RK Bro. So they come down to Orton's music. Obviously, Orton come out, does his usual pose. Riddle comes out on the scooter. And then we get AJ and Omos come out. And essentially, they are just looking in the ring and they're just essentially just going on for what seemed like an eternity, which in fact was only about 5 minutes. But yeah, felt a little bit a bit samey. But they got interrupted actually by Miz and John Morrison. Miz was in a wheelchair. Obviously, he's knee injury still. He had the Johnny drip stick in the side of the wheelchair and one of those comedy horns as well. So that was quite fun. And then when they played Morrison's music, he went down the ramp in slow motion. So, you know, Miz is essentially quite a comedic genius when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought that was quite fun. So obviously we have Morrison wasn't scheduled for this match, but he was on his own, as was Lince Dorado from the Lucha House Party. Apparently Gran Metalik got hurt. So I'm not sure when that was, but if is injured, then, you know, we wish him a speedy recovery. If it's hopefully nothing too serious. But yeah, like the match kind of just kicked off with RK Bro just essentially RKOing the heck out of everybody. You know, anything that moved, they were RKOing. You know, just went into essentially an all-out brawl. This match it was actually pretty decent for a battle royal. I think going into it, I think everyone was expecting RK Bro to win this, but I mean, I was actually really surprised, and I actually really enjoyed seeing the Viking Raiders as the team that came out of this victorious. Now, the Viking Raiders are a team that I love. I love those two guys. They work so well as a big man team. You know, but the things they can do, they fly around the ring. And, you know, although obviously she was with the Riot Squad, I'd love to see Sarah Logan or Sarah Rowe come back. Obviously the wife of Eric. I'd love to see her come back, even if she's part of this, or, you know, along with Liv as part of the Riot Squad. I mean, I don't know what they would call themselves, because obviously the Riot part of it comes from the aforementioned Ruby Riott, who obviously was one of the sad releases. But yeah, as I say, it's so Viking Raiders won this, but it wasn't scheduled as like a match for Hell in a Cell. It was just announced as a future tag team championship shot. So nothing obviously officially announced. But it did lead to a match later in the evening between Kofi Kingston and Riddle, which Yeah, I suppose that was actually a pretty decent back and forth match as well. That one, yeah, quite as I say, quite enjoyed that. And then we got one of the main things that we have been excited about, and that was the contract signing between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Now, Drew obviously came down to the ring first, sword in hand, and he essentially was meaning business. He was sitting down talking, telling some old Scottish tales. And then we get Bobby Lashley and MVP appear on the screen along with the 5 girls, that different 5 that they seem to have each week. Now, MVP was like, look, we're going to be fashionably late. So they come down to the ring. Obviously, Bobby takes his seat. Drew signs a contract. And MVP essentially was saying, look, Bobby Lashley. I'm used to MVP speaking. But Bobby Lashley said, look, I did exactly as I was asked last week. I stayed in the back. I let that match play out. So I want to be rewarded for that compliance. And he then said that he wants to add a stipulation to the match on at Hell in a Cell. And that stipulation is that if Drew McIntyre were to lose, then he does not get another shot at the championship while Bobby Lashley is champion. Drew McIntyre accepts that and then says, you know what? Okay, I accept that, but I want something in return. I want some place where nobody can interfere or no one can lose on my behalf. I want this match inside Hell in a Cell. So we get, for the very first time this year, the first Hell in a Cell match announced for this pay-per-view. Both men then sign the contract. Drew actually reminds Lashley, look, you've never actually been inside Hell in a Cell. I have. I was in it last year. I fell 15 foot off the side of that cell. Ironically, that was the match where Drew lost, so he's not got the best record inside Hell in a Cell. Explain the brutality of this match as well, and then smash through the table with his sword. And it was actually really nice to see a contract signing happen and the table not get smashed by somebody getting thrown through it or it escalating into any kind of violence. But yeah, as I say, it was actually pretty cool. We also got an announcement that Eva Marie will be on Raw next week. So obviously we've been seeing the Evolution promos that have been airing on Raw for a number of weeks now. There is actually talk. I don't know exactly how true this is, but we'll go with it anyway. But there's been quite a bit of talk that she's going to have some muscle with her. 2 names that have been bounded about are Mercedes Martinez and Piper Niven. So if you've not seen Piper Niven, she is an NXT UK superstar. She used to wrestle on the UK independent scene as Viper. Very lovely Scottish lady. She's incredibly talented in the ring, and she is a force to be reckoned with as well inside that squared circle. And obviously Mercedes Martinez needs no introduction whatsoever. But obviously with Mercedes, they've got a little bit going on at the moment with her over on NXT. And the last time they tried her on Raw was obviously part of Retribution, and that didn't seem to go down too well. So interesting, I guess, to see where that's going to lead. Obviously, Eva Marie going on to Raw is a bit, obviously, well, it makes sense because that's where all the promos have been. But it'd be nice just to see her literally show up and just be like, yeah, I can't be dealing with it around here. I'm going to go to SmackDown. Because SmackDown, as we know, only now have 7 women on their roster. So, bit thin on the ground over there. You know, you do think one injury could throw a lot of stuff into jeopardy over there. But anyway, we'll see where it goes. So, from last week, we saw Jackson Riker and what's his name? Jackson Riker and Elias. That's it. Seemingly split up. Elias walked out of their tag title match. So Elias is playing in the ring, and Jackson Riker comes in, attacks him, beats him up. They have a little bit of a match, and Riker wins by countout. Yeah, we then also get Sheamus come out to the ring. Sheamus, obviously, with a very nice facial mask. You probably recognize it. It's something very similar to what Cody Rhodes was wearing back when he was in WWE. Obviously, Sheamus wearing it due to the broken nose that he suffered last week. He had some surgery on that. Sheamus has actually said that he feels like he is fine to wrestle. It's down to WWE. If they don't want him to wrestle, then he won't wrestle. But he feels as though he is good to go. So Sheamus was out on commentary for a match between Humberto Carrillo and Ricochet. So these two essentially went one-on-one, where the winner was going to take on Sheamus. The winner was going to take on Sheamus, but there was no winner in this match because both men did an amazing Spanish fly off the apron to the floor, and that caused a double disqualification. Come on, Dan. A double count out, even. So the match ended in a draw. Nobody won. So there is officially no challenger yet for Sheamus. One guy that I would like to actually see face Sheamus is a man who has now not lost in, I believe it's 50. He's not been pinned or submitted in 51 matches, and that is Mansoor. So shout out to Mansoor. I know Lucas will be very happy with that one. But Mansoor getting a match against Drew Gulak. Interesting to see, though, where they're going with this Mustafa Ali thing, because Ali was saying to him, look, how are you going to cope when Gulak tries to cheat? Like, you're this essentially white meat baby face. You know, they want the crowd to get behind him when there is a crowd back, but, you know, you're a bit too nice. And there was a part where Gulak did go for the tights, but Mansoor rolled them up, got the victory. Mansoor has still technically not been pinned or submitted in 51 matches. Keep that going. I think they should just hold this out until they get back to Saudi Arabia. Have Mansoor dethrone Sheamus in Saudi Arabia. That pop would be incredible for that one. So let's now get on to a little bit more in this feud between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. So, Rhea and Charlotte, they essentially, we know obviously they are going to face off at Hell in a Cell, but on this show, they were actually teaming together. So, to put it into perspective, so earlier in the night, both Charlotte and Rhea were talking with Adam Pearce, and nearly said Adam Cole, talking with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. And essentially what they both said was, look, Nikki has beaten us both. She didn't. She just lasted 2 minutes with both of them in the ring. And so they wanted to essentially get a bit of revenge, just to say, look, we can beat her. So he's like, okay, so what we'll do then is we'll have a tag team match. It'll be you two taking on Nikki and a partner of her choosing. So the lady that Nikki did choose to team up with was Asuka. Now, obviously, we know Asuka has had her own issues with both women recently. But yeah, it was it was actually a decent little match, this one. So Charlotte did hit... So she hit a natural selection, but not on Nikki Cross. She actually hit it on her own tag partner because Rhea and Charlotte could not get along whatsoever. She hit natural selection on Rhea Ripley. Nikki then rolled in, pinned Ripley. 1, 2, 3. Nikki Cross has pinned the Raw Women's Champion. Are we leading then to Nikki Cross versus Rhea Ripley and or Charlotte Flair? Could Nikki potentially be one of the favorites now for Money in the Bank? Let us know what you guys think, obviously, in the comment section down below. Then, oh my days, I have to talk about this thing, flipping heck. Then we get Alexa Bliss welcoming Shayna Baszler to Alexa's Playground. So, what do we do? What do we do with this? So, Alexa and Shayna are sitting talking. Alexa is essentially saying to Shayna that she wants her to apologize to Lilly. Shayna's like, look, I'm not going to apologize. She's just a stupid doll. She did sarcastically apologize in the end. She threw Lilly on the floor, started stamping on her, stepped on her head. Alexa Bliss jumped up, slapped her across the face. But then the lights started going a bit funny. Shayna then dived out of the ring while Alexa cradled Lilly. And as Shayna's backing off up the ramp, boom, off goes the pyro. Yeah, some more hokey stuff. But it didn't end there because Shayna just was like, nah, I'm done. So she starts walking through the back. And then, so first, like a crate thing falls. The lights are still flickering all this time, by the way. Then you get one of like the rigs kind of falling. Until eventually she does get into a room where she barricades herself in with like a sofa, a chair. And she's like, no, this is just a stupid doll. But there's a mirror in the room and Shayna can see Lilly in the reflection in this mirror. And so in the end, she is just like, look, it's just a stupid doll. She ends up booting this mirror. Obviously, the glass of the mirror just shatters. I was half expecting Stone Cold Steve Austin to come out. I'm not going to lie. Unfortunately, he didn't. It probably would have saved the show, in all fairness. But yeah, as I say, that was your closing segment, I guess, of Monday Night Raw. So we also had a couple of announcements regarding this week's NXT as well. So, as we know, Cameron Grimes and LA Knight are going to be facing off at NXT TakeOver in your house. But this week on NXT, there's going to be apparently a priceless announcement from the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Now, my theory here is this is going to be where he's going to announce that he is bringing back the $1 Million Championship, and the match at TakeOver in your house is going to be for said $1 Million title. We are also going to see a face-off between Karrion Kross and his 4 challengers for his championship at TakeOver. That is Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne. We are also going to see Austin Theory taking on Oney Lorcan. Now, this all basically came about from, stemmed from last week, really. If you saw NXT, you would have seen that when Adam Cole had attacked all the guys with a steel chair, when they're getting checked on in the trainer's room, there was a little bit of a set to between Lorcan and Theory. So they are going to take that out on NXT. Also, we are going to see Killian Dane taking on Isaiah Swerve Scott. The hit row stuff. Yeah, be interesting to see exactly what they do there. So I think that is just about it for this episode of Lay the Smackdown. As I've said, though, don't forget, guys, you can check out Lay the Smackdown tomorrow, where I will be reviewing NXT, the Go Home NXT for TakeOver Stand and Deliver. No, it's not. It's the Go Home Show Fair TakeOver in your house. What I'm going to do as well is it's going to be a slightly longer episode, because at the end of it, I'm going to give my predictions on each of the matches for TakeOver Stand and Deliver. For goodness sakes, it's not TakeOver Stand and Deliver. I'm going to give my predictions on TakeOver in your house. It'd be a bit stupid, really, for me to give my thoughts on TakeOver Stand and Deliver, considering that's already gone, and that would be cheating, because I would already know the results. But anyway, TakeOver in your house. There we go. So that's going to be next Sunday. I'll probably have a bonus episode as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, for now, as I say, I've been Dan. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Tap the bell for notifications. You can check out the NXT review at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter at RN Pro Wrestling, and follow me at Dan_RebNoise. Don't forget, leave some comments in the section down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.